the downpour, and the doctor, a humblest plea that changes a millionaire's life. Imagine the desperate cries, lost in the relentless downpour. A young mother, barely more than a girl, collapses on the rain-slicked sidewalk, her tiny, feverish babies wailing in her arms. Passers-by, cloaked in expensive suits and umbrellas, avert their gaze, rushing past the harrowing scene. But then, a solitary man, a renowned heart surgeon haunted by his own past, stops. Everyone ignored her until he knelt down, and a simple act of compassion irrevocably altered his life, and hers. This is a story about how the most profound miracles can emerge from the darkest moments, transforming despair into an unexpected destiny. A cry in the rain. "Please help me! My baby can't breathe!" Maria Sanchez screamed through her tears as the rain soaked her worn dress. Her 8-month-old twins, Leo and Isabella, cried in her trembling arms. People rushed past her, covering their heads with newspapers and umbrellas, but no one stopped. "Ma'am, please!" She tried to stop an elegant woman who passed by without even looking at her. The asphalt of Manhattan's Upper East Side had turned into a black mirror reflecting the neon lights. Maria staggered, feeling her legs give out under the weight of desperation and exhaustion. She had arrived from her small town in upstate New York 3 days ago, with the last few dollars she had after selling everything she owned. The rural doctors had been clear. Isabella needed heart surgery, only available in the city. But at every hospital, she was rejected. "We have no available beds. You need health insurance. Come back next month." The same words, over and over again. Her strength gave out. Maria collapsed on the sidewalk, instinctively shielding her babies as the rain lashed down on them. Isabella's lips were blue, and she breathed with difficulty. Leo cried inconsolably, sensing his mother's anguish. People kept passing. Expensive shoes, elegant heels, all avoiding eye contact. "David," she whispered to the gray sky, "I need you to help me from wherever you are." Her husband had died in a mining accident when she was 6 months pregnant. Since then, she had struggled alone to get by with the twins. But this was more than she could handle. Through the curtain of rain, she saw a man emerge from a private clinic. He wore an elegant suit and shielded himself with a black umbrella. For a moment, his eyes met Maria's. Dr. Alex Rodriguez stopped. He had seen many tragedies in his 32 years, especially in the last 3, since he lost Sophia and their unborn baby. He had promised himself never to get emotionally involved again. It was easier to keep his distance, but something in the way that young woman protected her children pierced his chest like a knife. "It's not your problem," he told himself. "You have patients waiting." Maria looked up at him, her eyes filled with tears and rain. "Doctor," she managed to say, recognizing the stethoscope hanging from his neck. "My baby, something's wrong with her heart." Alex took a step back. That word, heart, hurt him more than any other. He had dedicated his life to fixing broken hearts after failing to save his own families. But Isabella chose that moment to let out a faint whimper that Alex immediately recognized. He approached, letting his umbrella fall, and knelt beside them on the wet asphalt. "Let me see," he said in a professional voice, but his hands trembled slightly as he touched the baby. Examining Isabella, he immediately noticed the signs. Cyanosis in her lips, labored breathing, a weak cry. But what chilled him was the recognition of something more specific. "My God," he murmured. "What's wrong? Is she very ill?" Maria asked, clutching Leo. Alex stared at Isabella. The symptoms were identical to what his own child would have had. the same rare heart condition he had obsessively studied for years, trying to understand why he couldn't do anything to save him. "What's her name?" he asked, carefully picking up Isabella. "Isabella, and he's Leo." "I'm Maria." "Alex," he responded automatically. "Alex Rodriguez. I'm a pediatric cardiologist." The world seemed to have stopped. After 3 years of avoiding any emotional connection, fate had placed him in front of a situation identical to the one he couldn't resolve in his past. "Let's go to my clinic," he said, helping Maria to her feet. "Right now." As they walked towards the entrance, Alex couldn't stop thinking about the cruel irony of fate. The same condition that had destroyed his world now gave him the opportunity to save it. The rain continued to fall, but for the first time in years, Alex Rodriguez felt that perhaps there was a reason for everything. How does Isabella's rare heart condition mirror Alex's past tragedy? And what is the significance of this second chance for him? What emotions do you think Maria is experiencing as Alex, a complete stranger, offers her unexpected help? Share your insights in the comments. A glimmer of hope in a lonely world. "I don't understand why you're doing this for us." Maria watched Alex as he adjusted the heart monitor connected to Isabella. 2 hours had passed since they arrived at the clinic, and the contrast between the drenched street and this immaculate place made her feel out of place. "It's my job," Alex responded without looking up, but his voice sounded different, less cold than when he found her on the street. "Your job is with patients who can pay," Maria murmured, rocking Leo, who had finally fallen asleep. Alex paused. That observation made him uncomfortable because it was true. For years, he had only treated wealthy families, staying away from cases that might awaken emotions he preferred to keep buried. "Isabella has a condition called tetralogy of Fallot," he said, changing the subject. "It's complex, but operable." "Operable?" Maria's eyes lit up for the first time. "Does that mean it can be cured?" "With surgery, yes, but it's expensive and requires a specialized team." The hope on Maria's face faded as quickly as it had appeared. "I don't have money. I sold everything to get here." Alex walked over to the window, observing the city stretching out before him. His penthouse was only 2 blocks away, empty and silent as always. Since Sophia's death, he had avoided being home longer than necessary. "Tell me about your husband," he said suddenly, surprising himself with the question. Maria looked at him strangely. "Why do you want to know?" "Because I need to understand your situation to help you." "David worked in the coal mines near our town," Maria began, her voice softening. "He was a good man, hard-working. When I got pregnant, he was so excited to be a dad. He used to say he would work extra to give his children everything." Alex felt a familiar pang in his chest. Sophia had said similar things about their future together. "The accident happened when I was 6 months along. A collapse. 5 men died that day. David never got to meet his babies." Maria wiped a tear. "I'm sorry," Alex said, and for the first time in years, he truly felt it. "Do you have children, doctor?" The question hit him like a punch. Alex closed his eyes, seeing Sophia's face the day they told him the baby had heart problems, the same condition he now saw in Isabella. "I had a wife," he finally responded. "We were going to have a son. What happened?" "A car accident. I lost them both." Silence filled the room. Maria immediately understood why Alex had reacted so strongly to seeing Isabella. "That's why you dedicate yourself to fixing hearts," she said softly. "That's why I stopped getting involved," Alex corrected her. "It's easier to keep a distance, but you didn't do that with me." Alex looked at her. She was right. Something about this woman and her children had broken through his defenses as if they were made of paper. "Isabella will stay here tonight for observation," he announced. "You and Leo, too. Doctor, I can't pay. Don't worry about that now." Maria studied him with curiosity. Why is he really doing this? Alex remained silent for a long time, observing Isabella sleeping, connected to the monitors. Her small chest rose and fell with effort, just as his own child's would have. "Because maybe fate is giving me a second chance," he admitted. That night, Alex did not return to his penthouse. He stayed at the clinic, reviewing Isabella's studies again and again. There was something hopeful about hearing the baby's breathing in the next room, voices that filled the silence that had accompanied him for 3 years. Around 2 in the morning, he found Maria awake, watching her children sleep. "Can't you sleep?" he asked. "I'm afraid that if I close my eyes, this will all just be a dream," she confessed. "That I'll wake up again on the street, without hope." "This is real," Alex assured her, sitting in the chair beside her. "Isabella is going to be okay. How can you be so sure?" "Because I've been studying her condition for 3 years. I know every detail, every possible complication. It's as if I've been preparing for this moment." Maria looked at him with bright eyes. "David always said, everything happens for a reason." "Perhaps your David and my Sophia put us in each other's path," Alex said, surprised by his own words. For the first time since his wife's death, Alex felt that perhaps he could believe in something bigger than pain again. "Tomorrow we'll take Isabella to the hospital for more tests," he said. "And after that, I think you should stay at my apartment while we prepare for the surgery." "We can't do that?" "Yes, you can," Alex insisted. "That place needs life, and you need a temporary home." As the city slept outside, Alex Rodriguez felt that for the first time in 3 years, he wasn't completely alone. How does Alex's decision to bring Maria and her children into his home symbolize a significant departure from his previous emotional detachment? Do you believe his hope for a second chance is truly about healing his past, or is it about building a new future? Share your insights in the comments. A home transformed, a growing love. "Papa Alex, Papa Alex." Leo crawled at full speed towards Alex, who had just arrived from the hospital. The little boy had started calling him that a week after moving into the penthouse, and every time he did, Alex felt something heal inside his chest. "Hello, champ," Alex said, picking up the baby. "How's your sister today?" "Better," Maria responded from the kitchen where she was preparing dinner. "Isabella took all her medicine without protesting." The apartment had completely changed. Colorful toys replaced empty spaces. Children's laughter filled the silences, and the aroma of home-cooked food had replaced the smell of disinfectant that always accompanied it. Alex approached Isabella, who was playing in her playpen with a portable monitor that tracked her vital signs. The baby smiled at him, extending her little arms. "Her oxygen levels have improved a lot," Alex observed, checking the data on his phone. "The preoperative medicine is working." "When is the surgery?" Maria asked, serving 2 plates of beef stew. She placed the plates on the table. During these 3 weeks, they had developed a routine that felt surprisingly natural. Alex would arrive from work, play with the children while Maria cooked. They would have dinner together, talking about everything and nothing. And then they would bathe the babies together before putting them to bed. "Maria," Alex said as they ate dinner, "there's something I need to tell you." The serious tone alarmed her. "What's wrong?" "My wife's parents are coming tomorrow. Patricia and Robert Davis. They don't know you're here. Is that a problem?" Alex sighed. "They never thought I was good enough for Sophia. Since her death, they show up now and then to keep an eye on me, I suppose. We can leave for a few days." "No," Alex said firmly. "This is your home too. I just want you to be prepared. Patricia can be difficult." The next day, Alex was at the clinic. When he received the security call, the Davises had arrived. Maria was playing with the twins in the living room when she heard the elevator. She smoothed her simple dress, nervous about meeting people from Alex's social class. "Who on earth are you?" Patricia Davis entered like a storm, dressed head to toe in designer clothes. Her husband Robert followed with a disapproving expression. "I'm Maria Sanchez," she responded politely. Alex allowed me to stay here temporarily with my children. Your children? Patricia looked at the babies as if they were strange creatures. Alex is paying for your children? He's treating my daughter. She has a heart condition. How convenient, Patricia said sarcastically. And how much are you charging him for your services? Maria blushed, understanding the insinuation. It's not what you think, ma'am. I know exactly what it is, Patricia retorted. An opportunist taking advantage of a vulnerable man's good heart. Robert approached, examining the apartment. Sophia lived here. This place is sacred to her memory. Alex has told me about his wife, Maria said calmly. I'm very sorry for your loss. Don't you dare mention my daughter, Patricia screamed. You have no right! Isabella began to cry, frightened by the shouting. Maria picked her up, trying to calm her. Look at that, Robert said, pointing to the heart monitor. Using a sick child to manipulate him. How low can you sink? My children are not a manipulation, Maria responded, her voice trembling with indignation. Isabella is truly sick. Of course she is. Patricia approached threateningly. But this ends today. We're calling social services. A homeless woman with no resources cannot properly care for 2 babies. You can't do that! Oh, yes we can. My husband knows the director of family welfare. A simple call, and these children will be in temporary foster care while they investigate your situation. Maria turned pale. She knew they had the power to carry out their threat. Please, she begged. Isabella needs the surgery. If they separate us now, you should have thought of that before seducing a man who's still grieving his real family. When Alex arrived home that night, he found Maria packing in silence while the babies slept. What's happening? Your in-laws came, Maria said, without looking at him. They're right. I shouldn't be here. What did they tell you? The truth. That I'm taking advantage of you. That this place belongs to Sophia's memory. Alex sat heavily on the sofa. Maria, they don't understand. What don't they understand, Alex? Maria turned to him. That I'm a poor country girl who doesn't belong in your world? That Isabella and Leo will never be your real children? That's not true. Then tell me what we are to you. Because after 3 weeks, I still don't know. Alex opened his mouth to answer, but the words wouldn't come out. The truth was, he didn't know exactly what they were either. He only knew that for the first time in years, he felt complete. His silence was answer enough for Maria. Isabella's surgery is in 5 days, she said, continuing to pack. After that, we're going back to upstate New York. Maria, wait. No, Alex. Patricia is right about one thing. You're still grieving, and I can't keep pretending this is something it's not. That night, Alex stayed awake in his room, listening to the familiar sounds he had come to love. The soft breathing of the babies, Maria softly singing them to sleep. For the first time, he wondered if he had been living with Sophia's ghost instead of honoring her memory, and if he was letting fear rob him of the opportunity to be happy again. How does the confrontation with Patricia and Robert Davis expose Alex's lingering grief and Maria's deep insecurities? What is the significance of Maria's decision to leave, and how does it force Alex to confront his true feelings? Share your insights in the comments. A choice for love. The surgery was a complete success. Alex emerged from the operating room with a tired smile. It had been 4 intense hours, but Isabella had responded perfectly. Maria got up from the chair where she had been waiting, with Leo asleep in her arms. Is she okay? Can I see her? She's in recovery. In a few hours, you'll be able to be with her. Maria collapsed into the chair, finally allowing herself to cry with relief. Alex sat beside her, feeling the satisfaction of having saved a life, especially this life. Thank you, Maria whispered, for everything. 6 months had passed since the surgery. Isabella had fully recovered, scampering around the apartment with Leo, who had taken his first steps the week before. But something had changed between Alex and Maria. After the confrontation with the Davises, Alex had returned to his distant behavior. He remained affectionate with the children, but with Maria, he maintained a cold courtesy that hurt more than any shouting. "Good morning," Alex said, entering the kitchen where Maria was preparing breakfast. "Good morning," she replied without looking up. The routine had become mechanical. Alex left early for work and returned late, avoiding the intimate conversations they used to have. Maria had begun looking for jobs in apartments, preparing for the inevitable. "This came for you," Alex said, leaving an envelope on the table. Maria opened it, reading quickly. It was a job offer as a nursing assistant in a hospital in upstate New York, with housing included. "It's a good opportunity," Alex commented, pouring himself coffee. "Yes, it seems so." Both avoided looking each other in the eyes. The children played in the living room, oblivious to the tension that had taken over the home that was once so happy. That afternoon, as Alex saw patients at the clinic, Patricia Davis appeared without warning. "We need to talk," she said, closing his office door. "Patricia, I don't have time for—" "It's about Sophia." Alex stopped. In recent months, he had tried not to think about his wife, blaming himself for allowing another woman to take her place in his heart. "There are things I never told you," Patricia continued. "Things Sophia wrote before she died." She took a yellowed envelope from her purse. "Letters she never gave you." "What letters? Read them yourself." Alex took the envelope with trembling hands. Sophia's handwriting was unmistakable. There were 3 letters, dated in the last months of her life. "Alex," he read aloud, "I don't know how to tell you this, but I feel so lonely in our marriage. I know you love me, but it's as if you love the idea of me, not the real person. You work so much that sometimes I feel like I live with a ghost." The words blurred. Alex kept reading, discovering that Sophia had planned to ask him to go to marriage counseling, that she felt invisible in her own home. "Why are you giving me this now?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Because I see how you look at that woman and those children," Patricia replied, her tone surprisingly soft. "Sophia never saw that light in your eyes. I don't understand. My daughter loved you, Alex, but you were so obsessed with your career that you never truly saw her. Now you have a second chance to be the man Sophia needed you to be." Alex stood motionless, processing the revelation. "But you said Maria." "I was jealous," Patricia admitted. "Jealous that a stranger could awaken in you what my daughter never could. But I've been watching these past few months, the way you rush home to be with those children, how you smile when you talk about them. That's what Sophia wanted. It's too late. Maria is leaving. Then don't let her go." When Alex arrived home that night, he found Maria sitting on the sofa, with the children asleep in her arms. "I accepted the job in upstate New York," she said without preamble. "We're leaving next week." Alex sat in front of her, Sophia's letters still in his hand. "Maria, I need to tell you something." "There's nothing to tell, Alex. These months have been beautiful, but we both know it's not real." "It is real," he said, his voice laden with emotion. "For the first time in years, it's the only real thing in my life." Maria looked at him, surprised by the intensity in his voice. "Sophia wrote me letters before she died," Alex continued. "Letters she never gave me. She said she felt like a ghost, that I never truly saw her. Maria, she was right. I was so obsessed with work that I lost sight of what truly mattered. But with you, with Isabella and Leo, for the first time, I understand what it is to be a real family." Maria felt tears in her eyes. "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because I can't let you go. Because these 6 months have been the best of my life, and I was a coward for pulling away from you. It's not that simple, Alex. We're from different worlds." "Worlds don't matter when it comes to love." The word hung in the air between them. Love. Neither of them had uttered it before, but there it was, real and terrifying. "I need time to think," Maria finally said. Alex nodded, knowing he had waited too long to be honest. Now he could only hope it wasn't too late. How do Sophia's letters reveal a tragic truth about her marriage to Alex? And how does this impact his understanding of his past? What is the significance of Patricia's change of heart? And how does it drive Alex to confront Maria? Share your insights in the comments. A family's choice. Love wins. "Maria! Maria, wake up!" Alex found Maria unconscious on the bathroom floor, with Isabella crying beside her. It was midnight, 3 days after their conversation about Sophia's letters. "What happened?" Maria murmured, trying to sit up. "You fainted. Isabella came to get me." Alex quickly checked her vital signs. "When was the last time you ate?" Maria didn't respond, but Alex already knew the answer. In the past few days, he had noticed she barely touched her food, lost in her thoughts about the decision she had to make. "I'm going to make you something," he said, carrying Isabella. "And I won't take no for an answer." While Alex cooked scrambled eggs in the kitchen, Maria stayed on the sofa watching him. The ease with which he carried Isabella, the way Leo clung to his leg, everything confirmed what her heart already knew. But her mind resisted accepting. "The tickets for upstate New York are on my table," she said, when Alex brought her the plate. "I saw them. We leave tomorrow afternoon." Alex sat beside her, with the 2 children playing on the floor between them. "Is that what you really want?" "It's what's best for everyone." "That's not what I asked you." Maria put her fork down. "It doesn't matter what I want, Alex. You're still in love with Sophia." "Sophia is dead," Alex said, harsher than he intended. "And after reading those letters, I realized that maybe our marriage wasn't as perfect as I thought." "Don't say that. It's the truth. I was a bad husband, Maria. Obsessed with work, emotionally distant. Sophia felt lonely, and I didn't even notice. But I loved her, but not in the right way." Alex took Maria's hands. "With you, I've learned what it means to truly love, to be present, to care about the small details, to want to come home just to see my family smile. Alex, I love you, Maria. You, Isabella, Leo. I love you both, as I never thought I could love again." Tears streamed down Maria's cheeks. "I love you too, but I'm scared." "Of what?" "That one day you'll wake up and realize you did this out of guilt, not love. That you'll look at these children and remember what you lost instead of valuing what you have." Alex moved closer to her. "Look at Isabella and Leo. Do you see pity in my eyes, or do you see love?" Maria watched as Alex picked up Leo, who immediately snuggled against his chest. Isabella crawled towards them, demanding his attention too. "I see love," she admitted. "Then stay. Let's build something real together." "It's not that simple. Patricia was right about one thing. We're from different worlds. I don't know how to be the wife of a successful doctor, and I didn't know how to be a father until you came into my life." Alex smiled. "We can learn together." At that moment, Isabella managed to stand on her own, taking 2 wobbly steps towards Maria before falling into her arms. "Her first steps!" Maria cried excitedly. "She did it," Alex said, his eyes moist. "Just like her mommy." "What do you mean?" "That you both have proven to be stronger than you believed possible." Maria looked at Alex, then at her children, then at the home they had built together without realizing it. "I'm scared," she repeated. "Me too. But I'd rather be scared with you than safe and alone." That night, Maria canceled the tickets to upstate New York. Not because she had all the answers, but because she finally understood that some decisions are made with the heart, not with logic. Alex found her in the children's room, watching them sleep. "Are you sure?" he asked. "No," she replied honestly. "But I'm sure I love you, and I want to try." Alex hugged her from behind, feeling the pieces of his broken heart. finally begin to heal. "We're going to make mistakes," Maria said. "Probably. It's going to be hard. Definitely. But it's worth trying. Absolutely." For the first time in months, they slept in the same bed, not as lovers, but as a family that had decided to fight for their future together. In the next room, Isabella and Leo slept soundly, unaware that they had helped heal 2 broken hearts and create something beautiful from the ashes of pain. Love, Alex and Maria decided that night, was not about perfection. It was about choosing every day to build something better together. What is the significance of Isabella's first steps in this emotional turning point for Alex and Maria? How does their decision to fight for their future together redefine their understanding of love and family? Share your insights in the comments. A full circle: love, family, and legacy. Do you have everything packed? Alex appeared at the bedroom door, watching Maria fold the children's clothes into a suitcase. 2 weeks had passed since their decision to stay, but the tension was still present between them. "Almost everything," Maria replied without looking at him. "The flight leaves at 6. "Maria, we can talk about this again." "There's nothing to talk about, Alex. The job in upstate New York will give me independence. Isabella and Leo need stability, not to live off your charity." "It's not charity, it's—" "What is it then?" Maria turned to him, her eyes shining. "Because after 2 weeks, you still haven't proposed anything concrete, just nice words and vague promises." Alex fell silent. She was right. He had been postponing the conversation about the future because he didn't know how to ask her to marry him without it sounding like a convenient solution. "Sad, Mommy," Isabella said from her playpen, extending her arms towards Maria. "I'm not sad, my love," Maria lied, picking up her daughter. "We're just preparing for a trip." Leo, who had been playing on the floor, noticed the suitcases and started crying. At 15 months, he understood that something was changing. "Why can't they stay here while you decide?" Alex asked, carrying Leo. "Because I can't keep living in limbo. These children need a real home, not a temporary situation. This is their real home." "No, Alex, this is your home. We're guests who stayed longer than expected." The words hurt because Alex knew there was some truth in them. He had never formalized their relationship. He had never made official what everyone felt. That afternoon, while Maria finished packing, Alex stayed at the clinic pretending to work, but in reality, paralyzed by indecision. His secretary, Martha, found him looking out the window at 4 in the afternoon. "Doctor, your last patient canceled. Are you going home?" "Maria's leaving today," he said without turning. "Are you just going to let her go?" Alex looked at Martha, surprised by the direct question. "It's complicated." "No, doctor, it's simple. Do you love her?" "Yes. Do you love those children? As if they were my own." "Then what are you waiting for?" Alex returned home at 5:30, his heart pounding. He found Maria in the living room, with the suitcases by the door and the children dressed for travel. "You got here just in time to say goodbye," Maria said, avoiding his gaze. "Maria, wait. The taxi's on its way." "Cancel it." "Alex, we already talked about this." "No, we didn't talk. I behaved like a coward, and you decided to run away instead of fighting for us." Maria turned to him, surprised by the firm tone in his voice. "Run away? Is that what you think I'm doing?" "Yes. You're running because you're just as scared as I am to admit that this is real." "Of course it's real. That's why it hurts so much." Alex approached her, taking her hands. "Then don't leave. Marry me." "What?" "Marry me, Maria. Not because it's convenient. Not because the children need a father. But because I love you, and I can't imagine my life without you." Maria was speechless, her eyes filled with tears. "I know I don't have a ring. I know it's not romantic. But I can't let you get on that plane without telling you that I want to spend the rest of my life with you." "Alex, Papa, Alex sad," Leo observed, noticing the tears in Alex's eyes. "Yes, my love. Alex said, without letting go of Maria's hands. Papa Alex is very sad, because his family wants to leave. His family? Maria asked. You are my family, the only family I want. The sound of the taxi horn interrupted the moment. Alex and Maria looked at each other, the future hanging by a thread. Tell him to go away, Alex whispered. Maria closed her eyes, feeling the weight of the decision. When she opened them, she saw Isabella and Leo watching her, as if they understood that this moment would define their lives. All right, she finally said. All right, what? All right, I'll marry you. Alex lifted her off the ground, twirling her as the children clapped and laughed, not fully understanding what was happening, but feeling their parents' happiness. Are you sure? Alex asked, gently setting her down. No, Maria admitted, smiling through tears. But I'm sure I love you, and that has to be enough for now. It is more than enough. That night, after unpacking the suitcases and putting the children to bed, Alex and Maria sat on the sofa, planning their future together. Where are we going to get married? Maria asked. Wherever you want. In my hometown. I want David to know that his children will be fine. Alex nodded, understanding. And after that, can we go on a honeymoon? With the children? Of course. I couldn't imagine a vacation without them. As they talked about plans and dreams, neither of them mentioned that they still had fears, that there were still obstacles to overcome. At that moment, it was enough to know that they had chosen to face the future together. True love. They had learned. It wasn't the absence of fear, but the decision to be brave, despite the fear. What is the significance of Maria's decision to marry Alex, despite her fears and past trauma? How does Alex's desperate proposal and his commitment to fight for us highlight the profound change in his character? Share your insights in the comments. 3 years had passed since that rainy afternoon, when Alex found Maria unconscious on the street with her babies. 3 years since fate had put them in each other's path, forever changing the course of their lives. Do you remember this place? Alex asked, stopping the car in front of the clinic where he worked when he met them. Maria looked out the window, smiling as she saw the sidewalk where she had once lost hope and regained it on the same day. As if it were yesterday, she replied, caressing her 6-month pregnant belly. Though I feel very different now. Look, Mommy, that's where we played in the rain, Isabella shouted from the back seat, pointing excitedly towards the street. At 3.5 years old, Isabella was a child full of energy, with no sign of the heart condition that once threatened her life. Her surgery had been so successful that other doctors used her as a case study. We don't play in the rain anymore, Isa, Leo corrected her, with the seriousness of his 3 years. Mommy was sick, and Daddy helped her, and then they got married, and now we're going to have a little brother, Isabella added, completing the story they had heard hundreds of times. Alex and Maria exchanged an amused glance. The children had turned their love story into a fairy tale they loved to hear over and over again. Let's walk a bit, Alex suggested, getting out of the car. The family walked slowly along the same sidewalk where everything had begun. Alex carried Leo, while Maria held Isabella's hand, her prominent belly showing the new life growing inside her. Do you know what I was thinking that night? Maria asked, stopping at the exact spot where she had fainted. What? That David had abandoned me, that I was completely alone in the world with 2 sick babies. But you weren't alone? No, Maria smiled. I just didn't know it yet. Alex put his free arm around her, looking towards the clinic where they now worked together. After their wedding in Maria's hometown, Alex had kept his promise to create a mobile clinic that traveled to rural areas. Maria, now a certified pediatric nurse, was his partner both in work and in life. Dr. Rodriguez, a man passing by greeted him. How's the family? Very well, thank you, Mr. Garcia, Alex responded. In these 3 years, he had become a known figure in the neighborhood, no longer the distant doctor he once was. "When's the baby due?" the man asked, pointing to Maria's belly. "In 3 months," Maria replied. "It's a boy. Oh, what a blessing. Your other children are beautiful." Isabella hid behind her mother's legs, still shy with strangers, while Leo waved politely. When the man walked away, they continued their stroll until they reached a small park nearby. The children ran towards the swings, while Alex and Maria sat on a bench. "What are we going to name the baby?" Alex asked, putting his hand on his wife's belly. "I was thinking, David Alex," Maria said softly. Alex felt a lump in his throat. "Are you sure?" "My first husband gave me these beautiful children," Maria explained. "You gave me a second chance to be happy. The baby will carry the names of the 2 men I have loved most." "David Alex Rodriguez Sanchez," Alex said, trying out the name. "I like it." "Mommy, look how high I can swing," Isabella shouted. "Be careful, my love," Maria responded. "She looks more and more like you every day," Alex observed. "Brave and determined. And Leo looks like you, serious and protective. And the new baby? He'll be a perfect mix of all of us," Maria smiled. As they watched their children play, it began to drizzle lightly. Instead of running for shelter, they stayed seated, letting the soft drops refresh them. "Do you remember what you told me that first night in the clinic?" Maria asked. "What?" "That maybe fate was giving you a second chance." "And?" "I think fate was giving us both a second chance. It gave me the chance to love again, and it gave you the chance to be the man you always wanted to be." Alex kissed her gently, and it gave Isabella and Leo the chance to have a daddy who loves them. "And baby David Alex, we're going to give him the chance to grow up in a family that knows love can come after loss." "Dad, Mommy, come play with us," Leo shouted from the slide. "We're coming," Alex responded, getting up and helping Maria. As they walked towards the play area, Alex remembered the framed photo they had at home, the image of that first day when he knelt beside Maria in the rain. Patricia Davis, who was now a devoted grandmother, had given it to them. A street photographer had captured the moment without them realizing it. "It will always seem miraculous to me," Alex said. "What?" "That of all the doctors in New York, of all the streets where you could have fainted, fate put you exactly where I could find you." "Maybe David and Sophia had something to do with it," Maria suggested with a smile. "Maybe." The rain intensified a little, but this time it wasn't the desperate storm of 3 years ago. It was a soft, refreshing rain, like a blessing that washed away the past and promised a bright future. Alex carried Isabella while Maria took Leo's hand, and together they ran towards the car, laughing like the happy family they had become. As they drove back home, Alex looked in the rearview mirror at his children, then at his pregnant wife, and felt a deep gratitude for the day he decided to stop and help a stranger on the street. Because sometimes, he thought, the biggest miracles come disguised as ordinary moments of human compassion. And sometimes the best love stories begin when we choose to see someone else's need and decide to do something about it. The rain continued to fall softly as the Rodriguez Sanchez family drove home, whole and happy, with the future stretching before them like a fulfilled promise.